Hey, an expanded CoinOps 2 Next Gems build, adding on some games you may have missed out on. Just as beautiful as the last video. Let's go ahead and set it up, show the collections off, and go from there. So we'll get started here by showcasing the actual look. And again, this is kind of a beta before Next 2 comes out, and this is all arcade games. So to start out, this is old school arcade games. So your Donkey Kong, your Frogger, your Joust, Mappy, Marble Madness. So there are some light gun games and there are some trackball games in here as well. But these are your old school games. If you're interested, later in the video I show you how I set it up and I show you some of the settings. But right now I'm just using a 8-bit DOE Bluetooth controller on my computer. My computer's pretty powerful, but you can run this on a mid-range computer no problem. As you see, when you rest on a game, it goes ahead and does a video snap preview for you. Next category is retro shooters. So these are kind of your retro shooters. You had Galaga, Centipede, quite a few really good games. So the thing I like about this image is kind of the best of the best, not a lot of bloat. All these are very, very solid games. And some of them, stick the test of time. Next, we're going to go into run and gun, or run and gun as well. So those are your shooters, your retro shooters, and then you got run and gun. There's a total of 6 categories here. You can change the theme a little bit. You can also change the shaders and the bezels. That is all changeable in this. Wild West Cowboy, great game, by the way. We'll play that later in the video. So very responsive, as you see. The next category here is beat 'em up. And then the last category, or the second to last, is shoot 'em ups. We kind of went back and forth there. And then the last category is going to be Fight Club. So here you got your Double Dragon, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, your Golden Axe, Hook, Knights at the Round Table, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, highly recommend, Ninja Gaiden, The Punisher, Simpsons arcade game, Splatterhouse, as I mentioned, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, both of them, Vigilante, X-Men, and we'll try X-Men later in the video. So these are your shoot 'em ups, and we have a bunch, a lot of really good ones where you can really, have some fun. These games play great with a vertical arcade as well. I'm sure they'll make a vertical arcade version of this setup as well. Raiden Fighters, 1945. So you do have a 1940s game later in the collection and in the beginning of the collection. So there's 44 and 45. And lastly, you have Fight Club. But if you go one further down, there is a settings menu. And next up, I'm just going to share with you how I got, how I set this all up. Then we'll play some games, and then I'll add some additional thoughts, and then closing comments. Okay, so we downloaded the CoinOps Next 2 Gems MADMAN Plus Edition. There's a little README file here, and you can see that basically he's saying that this is like the Gems pack, and I did a video on that a week or two ago, but added about twice as many games. It's all arcade games. There are no console games. He said, just like what he said, if you want console games, wait until Next 2 drops. Again, this isn't Next 2 quite yet. There's still some final touches to be done. But this is going to be, once you see this, one of your go-to arcade builds once you see this all in action. Remember, there's those 6 categories of games, and these are it. So I went ahead and right-clicked my my first file, 7-zip, I extracted it to, and the quotations means its own folder. And then here it is. It's already all set up. Remember, you have like advanced configurations, all sorts of bezels and shaders and visual effects. these fixes, I've never had to install these, but if you're on a fresh boot of your computer might not have these pre-installed. You might need those. Helpers, the shelling guide is pretty cool. I've showed that off before. If you want your CoinOps to just boot up from your PC automatically. You don't really have to mess with any of this other stuff. Restore your controllers. And then if you want to see your controls, how to navigate the menu, it's all here. Okay, as far as how you'll control the actual front end, emulator front end, not when you're in a game. And then you just double click CoinOps.
Come on! Get ready! 行くぜ Battle DrewTalks!
Don't forget that if you scroll all the way down to the 7th circle, there is your settings. Background music off, on, scan lines off or scan lines on, scan lines glowing, glass effect on. And they kind of give you a little preview here. I don't know if you can see that. Glass effect off, scan lines to show you what that might look like. Again, and no scan lines. Shut down, but you just press escape, and then the different themes that I showed off in the previous menu, in the previous builds, but basically it pretty much changes that coloring in the background for a lot of it. We were on Spectrum on the majority of this video. Also, do know there is a FAQ page here, and what I like about this FAQ page is a number of things. First, just read through it, but also it tells you what each of the effects do. And other than those effects that we saw, the glass effects, there are additional effects you can get to, and you can get to those here. And these are called batch files. You could just double click them. For example, if I just double click that, I've now applied the glass CRT effect. And so if you're wondering like, oh, what is this, instead of just clicking and then checking and then clicking and then checking, it gives you a little bit more, a better idea. Smooth pixel look. This would be a sharp pixel look. This will make the CRT effect sharper with less bloom and blur effects. So this gives you a good start. And just so you know that these work for the MAME games, and this is a MAME build, so it's going to affect the majority of the games in your collection here. So I loved it before, I love it now. Just shy of around 16, 18 gigabytes for this whole build. So down and dirty, runs great, love the front end. It's gonna work for mid-range PCs, even some budget PCs are gonna run this just fine. What I'll do is I'll put a link to the Discord. If you're interested, you can go ahead and go there and follow up on this. But it's cool, I highly recommend it, and I can't wait until the official Next 2 build comes out because I'm excited for some console play in addition to this. So that's what I think. Let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.